After 6 months of uncertainty, Darren Moore's Rovers side are looking to hit the ground running against Milton Keynes Dons this afternoon. Following 6 weeks of pre-season training and 2 competitive cup games, the focus turns to the bread and butter as the league campaign gets underway. Coincidentally, the Dons were the last team Rovers faced in the league back in March, and Russell Martin is another young manager looking for a successful campaign in the third tier. Good afternoon and welcome to the Keepmoat Stadium, and thank you for joining us for our pre-match build-up as we count down to the start of the 2020-21 Sky Bet League One season. I'm joined by two men who know all about the highs and lows of a league campaign: Doncaster Rovers reporter for the Free Press Liam Hoden and host of the 18 Dapper fan channel on YouTube, Dan Pearson. Liam, I'll start with you. We'll discuss the goings-on of pre-season for Rovers. How do you assess things where they are at present?
I think it's really positive. I think the start, when obviously there's a really long gap and there's going to be a lot of work to do, and we know that's only been in a short space of time, but in terms of recruitment, in terms of preparation, I think it's gone pretty well. And they're actually heading into the start of the season, the first game in League One, in a really, really strong position, probably much stronger than what we could have expected.
Of course, coincidentally, as we said earlier on, MK Dons, the visitors to the Keepmoat, they were the last team Rovers faced. It's strange how things like that happen in football.
It really is. It's quite nice, actually. It gives something for people like me to write about and a bit of narrative to hang things on. But yeah, it's good. And it were a positive day at Stadium MK as well. Got the win, decent performance as well, and hopefully similar today to kick this season off in style.
Dan, as a supporter, how frustrating have the last few months been, wondering when football would return?
Just wanting to be back and watching the team and support, because watching games behind closed doors on TV, the Premier League still went on. I just think it misses that little bit of edge. I think the supporters, the passion from the stands does spill onto the pitch and does make a difference in a game. Looking at the game last night, I think it needed that edge from the stands. So yeah, looking forward to getting back here as soon as it's safe to do so, really.
Did that Premier League and Championship football just whet the appetite for when League One would eventually
return?
It
did, yeah. It's kind of a strange feeling. Normally a bit more excited coming towards the start of the season, but I think because it's behind closed doors and we're having to watch it from home, the kind of enthusiasm's gone a little bit. But as soon as we're back, I'm sure we'll make the most of it.
Liam, from what you've heard from Darren Moore, how does he plan on changing things given the circumstances? Of course, we know at the Keepmoat the fans are always behind Rovers, but without them, if you're chasing a game or you're in front in a game, how does he see that changing, do you feel?
I think it's all been about trying to acclimatise the players to it as much as possible, and he admits that there is no ideal way to do that. He's said that many times over this campaign, this summer, in fact. I know he's took advice from other managers as well who've been through it in the Premier League and in the Championship. And they got the friendly on here against Man United under 21s. They had the game the other night, and I think just kind of learning what that atmosphere is going to be like, and that experience for the players, that's going to be vital. And it might take a little bit of time before they get fully used to it. I think we saw it in the Championship restart, certainly, that some clubs really, really struggled. But I think they'll be all right. They know what they're dealing with now.
In terms of recruitment, Darren Moore's already made several signings this summer. Dan, as a fan, looking at it, how do you assess the business he's done, in particular the last week or so? Tyrese John-Jules, Ray Tulloch, and of course Andy Butler returning to the club.
I think I'll start with Andy Butler. I think that's a great signing. We've got a very young squad. I think we are lacking that experience, and I think that is a very shrewd move by Darren to bring Butler back in. I think it'll put a little bit of pressure on Tom Anderson and Joe Wright, and it'll make them perform. I think it'll just kind of increase that desire to actually put the effort in. I can't really think of a better way of putting it. I think the effort level will be there, but there'll be that kind of thing in the back of the mind that they've got to put performances in to retain their spot in the starting 11. So glad to see Andy Butler back to add that bit of experience and kind of guide the younger players. Cameron John, great signing last year, showed what he could do. So to get him in on a permanent, fantastic. And then I like the loan market. I think as a club our size, I think it's very useful, especially to get that potential in. So yeah, very happy with the recruitment this season.
And although you fans can't be in the stadium this afternoon to watch Rovers take on MK Dons, of course you can make sure you don't miss a minute by following the club on iFollow Rovers. Get your subscriptions sorted for this afternoon's game. £10 for a match pass. Season ticket holders should have been sent your unique codes in order to log in and make sure you cheer Rovers on from home. Now on to the best of the midweek action. Here are the highlights from where Rovers took on Bradford City in the EFL Trophy. So Rovers held their nerve on penalties to claim that extra bonus point. Lewis Jones with a key intervention, saving in the shootout on the back of his clean sheet in the opening 90 minutes. How big a boost will that be for him?
Massive. Senior debut. He's been here a long time. I had to check to make sure that it actually were his senior debut. It just feels like he's been around for so long. But a really accomplished debut, capped off with that penalty save. I just thought he were really strong throughout. His distribution were good. He were commanding when he were coming from crosses, something he'd spoken about in the build-up when he took from Senny Dieng last season, learned a lot from Senny, and a part of that with that confidence in coming and claiming sort of balls into the box, and I thought he was fantastic with that. Really good debut, and hopefully he can kick on from here, and we'll see him on a fairly regular basis this season.
How much of a tough decision has he given Darren Moore now then? I know Joe Bursick is back from international duty. He came in as what you would presume as number one, but when Lewis Jones puts in a performance like that, he's not done himself any harm.
He's not done himself any harm at all. I think he definitely will have given Darren something to think about. I probably still expect that Joseph Bursick will start in the league, certainly to start the season with anyway, but Lewis has shown himself as a very capable backup. I know he's held in very high regard here, and they see him very much as a number one for the future. Well, maybe that future's sooner than what we all expected.
Dan, in terms of the EFL Trophy, because it could have a big part to play in Rovers' campaign this year, it tends to be one for supporters where until you get into those final stages, that's where the excitement really starts, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a good setup to have. I think it's a good way of kind of getting match fitness to players who wouldn't necessarily be in the starting 11 for the league campaign, and it's good to see those players getting out there and getting minutes. But yeah, like you say, when it gets to the later stages of the competition, that's where it starts to get a bit more interesting.
Liam, in terms of the starting 11 on Tuesday night, how similar do you see that being against the MK Dons this afternoon?
I think it'd be very similar. I think we were all slightly surprised by how strong it was the other night, but given the lack of preparation time, it's understandable as well. I think it'll be similar. Obviously, Tyrese John Jules came in on the day, couldn't make that game, and Ray Tullock coming as well. Perhaps they might be involved. We'll see. I don't think it'll be far off though, that starting 11 from Tuesday night.
Now, manager Darren Moore is under no illusions as to how tough the test from the MK Dons will be this afternoon. Here's what he had to say about preparing for that and his team striving on for improvements this season.
Honestly, Liam, like I said to Mike before, it's all areas, and I mean every single area of the team in and out of possession is so important to me, and the staff. And every single day, I don't think there's ever a day when I think to myself, oh, we're okay here. There's always areas of the team that we have to work on improving. I never stick predominantly to one area. There is always all different areas to work, whether that's in possession of the ball or off the ball, because every player in the squad has to know his job as an individual and collectively as a team. And by doing that, in and out possession, there's work every single day, and that's what we work and we continue to do so. And I really mean that when I get up and come in every day or when I'm away, there is always areas of the team looking to see that level of improvement, because it's important to me, and it's how we worked last season, and it's how we'll come back to this season. And I say to you, mate, honestly, Liam, that last season's gone for us. It's a term of it's a new playing field now for everybody. And we continue again, and we keep moving again, and keep working again. And that's what helps me sleep at night, knowing that we've maxed out for each and every single day. And it helps me put my head on the pillow at night and know that the work for that particular day has been done. And then we move on to the next day. I mean, football is back for the whole tiers of football, if you like, you know what I mean, Liam, in terms of, it coming back in. So, it feels a little bit different, mate. It does feel a little bit different because obviously, all the adulation of the opening day of the season when the fans are, you turn up at the ground and everybody's there and, the sun's out and everything else, and it sort of signals that. So it will be a little bit different, but, they say when it's in the blood, it's in the blood, and with the excitement of the new season, and it certainly is that. So we are looking forward to it.
Darren Moore, thorough in his preparations, as always. Liam, we know how meticulous he is with getting things right, and he was keen to point out as well to make sure everyone knows their roles, both individually and as a team.
That's what he's very, very big on, and he has been since he arrived here. And it was quite interesting trying to push him on which areas he'd been looking to improve for Rovers this season. He says everything. Every day is a day for improvement. But I think one thing that I've certainly noticed so far, be it in the friendlies or from the competitive games as well, the fluidity in midfield. It seems so the movement between players, interchanging positions. I think that's been a massive thing that has been worked on, and it looks really good. Well, if it comes off, it's going to be quite good to watch this season, I'm sure.
Do you think that's a result of him having a couple of transfer windows under his belt now in terms of getting the right personnel in for exactly how he wants it to play?
I think this is very much Darren Moore's team now. You need a couple of transfer windows, maybe even more than that, to really make your stamp on a team, and I think he's done that. I think the recruitment, particularly at the top end of the pitch, has all been about pace, energy, physicality, and I think we're going to see the benefits of that as things really start to come together over the next couple of weeks.
In terms of that midfield, Dan, how crucial do you think it's been keeping hold of captain Ben Whiteman for now? Whatever happens in that area, he's the sort of sticking point for it.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me, keeping hold of Ben Whiteman. He's the linchpin in the centre of the park. For me, one of the best defensive midfielders in League One. So if he does go to the Championship, hope he doesn't. All the best to him. I think he'll fit into a team very well, and he'll do the business in the Championship as well, but hopefully we get to see him here all season.
Of course, there was a lot of excitement last season with some of the loanees in Ramsey and Ennis and players like that. How excited are you to see the likes of Tulloch and John Jules get going in a Rovers shirt?
Yeah, I've not seen much of those guys. I've heard of the potential that they've got. I'm excited to see Lakilo a little bit more. We only got to see him 1 or 2 games last season, and he looked special. He looked like he's got a lot of talent, so it's going to be interesting and exciting watching him progress, and also the other loan players progressing as well.
Liam, a lot's made on the loan system, but do you think there's that trust in place from the fans now? They saw how well the loans did last year, so they know the players coming in now. Darren Moore's done his research. He knows what he's going to get out of these lads.
I hope it's there. I think it should be. I think even if you take it back before Darren was here, and Herbie Kane and Malik Wilkes made a massive contribution. I think virtually every loanee last season made a massive contribution as well. The success rate in terms of how the players are performing is going up. And we know that the reputation of Doncaster Rovers, and in particular Darren Moore as a manager who can develop young players and be trusted with young players, is growing. So you're seeing clubs willing to send their top talent. There's no doubt about it, Tyrese John Jules is incredibly highly rated by Arsenal. There's a lot of trust goes into a club when they send out a young player. It's a big season for their player. And I think hopefully we're going to see the benefits of that for Rovers with the quality of player that they've got on their hands.
And Darren Moore himself is seen as a father figure to these players, isn't he? He doesn't just bring them in and hope that they do well on the pitch. I think Ray Tulloch said it yesterday that off the pitch as well, he and Jamie Smith know when to put their arm around a player and know when to look after them.
I think Cameron John said it as well the other night. Darren Moore was a massive reason why he chose to come back to Doncaster Rovers, and they were happy to come and commit his future to Doncaster Rovers. That reputation is so strong. He built his coaching career on doing that, Darren Moore at West Brom, and I think that's where his reputation is growing as a developer of young players.
Central defender Joe Wright has established himself as a real first-team regular for Rovers since joining the club in 2016. Here's what he had to say on approaching 100 starts for Rovers.
See, at the start, we came in little bubbles, in groups of 4, groups of 6, and eventually we got put into one group, which was much nicer. Obviously, the lads could start training together, building those relationships, and obviously for the new lads coming in, we're a good group. We're a welcoming group. I'm sure they'll fit in straight away. The gaffer tends to bring in good characters as well, so I'm sure they'll fit in fine. I'd say that obviously we're on a good run. The team was performing well, and I think we've done well to keep the core group of players still. Obviously, Ben Wyman's still here. There's myself, Tom. You've got Brad. You've got a settled back 4 as well, really. So it's good that we can build upon that from last season. Obviously, and just keep that momentum going into this season.
Last league game before this all stopped was at MK Dons. Your first league game back, MK Dons. So, I mean, what do you make of what's changed with them over the last 6 months, and what you're going to be facing on Saturday?
I think it allows them to work on certain things. I think the managers come in to play a very attractive style of football. I think they'll have worked on that during the off-season, and they'll come back and they'll be an even better side. We had a difficult game down there where we did enough to win the game. We were resolute in defence, and then we took our chances on the day and came away with a 1-0 win. So we'll be looking to do the same. Obviously, keep a clean sheet and score plenty of goals.
Am I right in thinking it'll be your 100th start for the club tomorrow?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not aware if it is. That would be great. Yeah, it'd be nice to reach that figure. Yeah.
Yeah, little birdie tells me that's what it is. Second longest serving player at the club now as well.
I know. I'm aware. I think we all know who number 1 is. Yes. I'm a little bit behind him, but it's something I'm very proud of.
So 99 starts to date for Joe Wright. Liam, how much of an influential figure has he become in recent times?
I think he's been absolutely massive. We saw from when he came back into the side after his injury, sort of October, November time last season, the partnership he's developed with Tom Anderson. Tom Anderson's took a lot of the praise, but that partnership has been absolutely superb. The Twin Towers, Rocks, they just headed everything away. They seem to have got a great understanding. And Joe's developing into the player that I think we all expected him to from those early signs of when he first came in. He's had his injury problems, but now he's had a good run in the side. We're seeing the top quality centre-back that we expected him to be.
When Rovers last won promotion from Sky Bet League One, Jamie McComb and Rob Jones, similar nickname, the Twin Towers. Do you see a sort of replica of those two as well? Maybe with a bit more footballing ability in the two of them.
I think that's exactly what I would say. I think that they're so reliable that in terms of getting things away, but they have got that footballing ability as well. We're seeing with Darren Moore's eagerness to play out from the goalkeeper. You have to put a lot of trust in your centre-backs to do that, and both of them have stood up well. Joe Wright in particular, he loves a run forward with the ball. He had to get called back the other night, I noticed, after marauding into the opposition half. I think that's what they've got. They've kind of the next level from what McComb and Jones did, and it's been really good to see.
Dan, how nice is it to have that solidity in your back 4 as well? When you're watching on, you know that they've got that foundation to build from.
Yeah, I think from a fan's point of view, seeing that defensive solidity, for me, it's not just the back 2, it's Halliday as well. I think he came on so much last season, and Reece James at left back as well. Danny Amos, looking forward to seeing him this season as well. But with Andy Butler coming back, he's going to put the pressure on Tom and Joe to continue performing as well as they did last season. And yeah, it's nice to feel a little calmer when we're playing out from the back.
The settle back 4 is a big thing as well, isn't it? Last season, towards the start of the campaign, when Joe was injured, Baptiste came in, Donovan Daniels came in. But since Joe's become fully fit again, there's not been much room for manoeuvre in that back 4.
Yeah, he's got to do something wrong or something special in training from somebody else to lose that starting position for me.
Liam, within the back four, we've mentioned Big Tom. How important is his relationship with Joe Bean in keeping Rovers solid throughout last season and looking like it in the early competitive games as well?
I think it's been massive. I think that there is so much trust there. They've helped each other, both of them, because Joe Wright, incredibly vocal. That's been one of the good things, that the positives of not being any fans in the stadium. There's not many positives whatsoever, but being able to hear the players talking, Joe Wright is extremely vocal. And so is Tom, and they've helped each other along. And it has been, when you've got somebody at the side of you who's incredibly reliable as well, who you can rely on, I think it just helps create that solidity and trust as well.
Of course, Reece James hasn't had much time on the training pitch in the last few weeks after a niggle when he first came back into pre-season training. But if he is fit to start today, having Halliday, Wright, Anderson and James as a back four will be a big boost to Darren. Massive,
because it was so important last season. They had one of the best defences in the league last season. Perhaps if we'd have played those last 10 games, then they would have come out on top as one of the best defences. So, yeah, it'd be good to get Reece back in there.
Do you think that's made it easy for Joe Bursick to settle as well, knowing that that's the back four? More often than not, it's not chopping and changing. If he gets used to those characters, he won't go half wrong.
I think it has, because when you're kind of instructing a new, you can put your focus in telling Joe on what you want him to do and how you want him to play. And this is what the lads do. This is how they're set up. We know Darren Moore likes a certain type of goalkeeper, and I think he's targeted that in Joseph. And we'll probably see the benefits of that as well, because it'll be quite similar, if not quite as confident as Seny Dieng was last season. We're quite similar in style, and I think that'll be very good for Rovers.
Dan, do you think one area the centre halves could improve is their goal tally at the other end? For the size of them from set pieces, do you think they should be maybe getting on the score sheet a little bit more often?
That's a slight frustration for me and the family. When we get a corner, it's kind of, we're not on the edge of our seats, and that's been kind of an ongoing thing since the Bellevue days, really. So yeah, it would be nice to see them chalk up between 3 and 7 goals between them. I think that's a reasonable amount for a centre back pairing.
I think as well, every successful team seems to have goals from all over the park, don't they? Whether that's Ben Whiteman chipping in, Anderson or Wright, as we mentioned there. You're going to need that throughout the campaign when the strikers might not be firing.
Yeah. With the strikers, though, I think we've got a lot more choice this season than what we did last season. There was a lot of pressure on Ennis last season to kind of get the goals. We've lost Sadlier, who was the top scorer last season, so hopefully the recruitment will get us the goals. But yeah, like you say, it'd be nice to see goals coming from everywhere. John Taylor looks hungry this season as well.
Liam, you know how tough life as a journalist can be. We've got a young fan hoping to follow in your footsteps. So let's have a look at how young fan Luca got on when he interviewed Cameron John in the latest episode of DDTV.
I'm really happy that you've signed a contract with us, but what made you decide to return to the Rovers?
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was quite an easy decision once I found out it was all happening, but mainly the gaffer, really. It was a real part of me coming back and playing for his team, and being under him again and working with him again was a major part of me coming back.
Who's the best and worst dressed in the dressing room at Rovers?
Oh, you're going to put me in a sticky situation. Right, best dressed. To be fair, I don't really know. Best dressed. I would say I'd like to think I'm up there personally, but if I had to pick someone, I really don't know. I haven't really seen everyone in their best clothes, but that's a tough one. I'd go with I'd say J-Mo, Reece.
What's your favourite topping on a pizza?
Not pineapple, I can tell you that.
Good, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, it's nowhere near pineapple. Yeah. My favourite topping, I'd say a meat feast. Yeah, meat feast, but I don't mind a good old pepperoni. Yeah, no pineapple though. No way. I already know what's coming. They're gonna ask me to try it, and I already know it's coming my way, so I'm just gonna have to bear with. I'm just gonna have to deal with it.
Right then, gents, let's just get one thing straight. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
So yes for me.
100% no.
I would agree with you, Liam. Just on young fans interviewing the players, how nice is that to see? As a journalist, hopefully they'll grow up and want to do your role.
Yeah, I hope they don't take me role from me. But no, it's great to see. I think the club's been fantastic for many years now in bringing young fans in and getting them involved, and this is a great thing to see.
Now it's almost time for the match to get started. Head over to iFollow soon. Get your match passes sorted if you haven't already. As I mentioned earlier on, season ticket holders should have your unique code in terms of getting that set up. So just put that in off your email and then get set up, watch the game. Lads, predictions for this afternoon? What do you think from the MK Dons in general?
I think Houghton, we know what he's all about. He's going to be one to watch for me. If we cut him out, we've got a good chance of winning the midfield battle. And if we win that battle, I think we'll win the game. I think it'll be a very tight, cagey game. Both teams have had a lot of time off. I think it'll have a bit of a pre-season friendly feel about it, but I'm going with a 2-1 win to the Rovers.
Liam, in terms of Jordan Houghton, when he was here and Ben Whiteman was here, it was often a case that Darren Ferguson went for one or the other. How do you see that battle shaping up this afternoon?
Be an interesting one. They'll obviously know plenty about each other. Betton's kind of settled into the position that Jordan were playing when he was here. Ben were often shunted out towards the right hand side, and I think Ben's developed a little bit better. If I might be a bit biased on that one, but I think Ben's the stronger player at the minute. But be very, very interesting to see. I think both of them are going to have the hands full this afternoon. We know that MK Dons are a good footballing team as well, and they've had time to develop under Russell Martin, so be an interesting one. I think that particularly in midfield this afternoon.
Are you going to give us your prediction? How do you see it playing out?
I think Rovers will get off to a good start. I don't think they're fully 100% where they need to be, and I think we'll see better from them possibly into next month. 2-0 win today though. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the new lads and this new pacey, powerful attack that we're going to get.
Liam, Dan, thanks for your company. Thank you for watching from home as well. Head over to iFollow Rovers now. Live and exclusive full match commentary. It's Rovers against MK Dons from 3 p.m.
Rovers for all is simple.
If you are Rovers,
You are welcome.
football is everyone's game.
No matter who you are,
Who you love.
your race, or your faith, discrimination based on these characteristics is against the law.
And is not welcome at our football club.
We don't accept it in our stadium.
And we don't accept it online.
If you see the discriminatory language being used, use the Kick It Out app to report it.
Together, we can kick it out of football.